Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching exclusive men's basketball home opener coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet. Tonight, the men's basketball team will open up their 2018 season as they look to defend their back-to-back CUNYAC championships as they will take on Montclair State University. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babusky alongside my broadcast partner, Dave Pizzuto. And Dave, just like the women, a lot of changes for the men's team, but the men coming off two back-to-back CUNYAC championships, looking to make it three in a row, starting out with a huge, tough non-conference test tonight against Montclair State University.
Yeah, the one thing about the CSI Dolphins, Mike, is that they do not shy away from competition. It starts with their coach, TJ Tibbs, and it trickles down to just about everybody on the roster. They want to play a very tough schedule. They want to play the area's best teams, and they're going to get one right away in the Montclair State Redhawks, a New Jersey Athletic Conference power year after year. These two teams renewing a very rich rivalry. The CSI Dolphins coming in, having graduated a small cluster of players, but having had a few defections that they weren't expecting. Rob Rossiter, Stephen Flagg, no longer on the team in what would have been their senior seasons. They lost, of course, Eden Brocic and Ray Savage due to graduation. But you know, in their absence, the Dolphins have a lot of young, fresh talent, all looking to make an immediate impact. Very much like the women's team, Mike. The door is open. The opportunities are there. Who steps through it? Who makes it happen? These next 40 minutes are going to give us a pretty good indication going forward of how CSI is going to look the rest of the way.
Yeah, you know, Dave, we just came off watching the women really dominate St. Joe's Brooklyn by a final score of 67-43. And, you know, we were talking before the game as to, you know, who would be the player that steps up and where would the points come from. And, you know, lo and behold, the Dolphins were able to get 20 points scored by Kayla Schmitter. And the men's team is looking for something similar here this afternoon, Dave. We know the abilities of a Christian Taylor, and we know the abilities of Adiola Latunji. It'll be interesting to see who steps into those voids of all those open minutes that are now available.
Yeah, well, you start right with Rigo Destime, who was CSI's Rookie of the Year last year. He'll probably get an influx of minutes. He's listed at 5 foot in the program. He's really 6 foot tall, so we're sorry about that, Rigo. But then, really, it's an open casting call, Mike. You got Christian Kopech, who's returning for his junior season. You have James Delahanty, who the Dolphins hope can really be a plug in the middle. And then you have a whole slew of first-year faces. Chris Velasquez was the Catholic High School Player of the Year last year. He's a freshman guard who can battle for time. Jonathan Badmus is a big body on the inside, and the Dolphins are really looking for Shamal Martin, number 22, to really break through. He's a 6'7" project kid from Newdorp High School. Abdul Rasaka Shola will definitely have an impact in his first season. And, of course, you look at a kid like Austin Mick, who played for TJ Tibbs at the College of Mount St. Vincent in very limited duty, got a great shot from the outside. So really it's a roll of the dice as to who is really going to show up. But, Mike, I will say this. If the CSI Dolphins are battling for a CUNY championship at the end of this season, and we fully expect them to do that, that's going to mean that a lot of these new faces who all have question marks next to their names right now are going to be big players by the time late February rolls around.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how head coach TJ Tibbs in his second year really gets to mold a roster of much more of his own making and a bunch of players that he gets to select. And he had the difference this year and last year, Dave, is he had the whole regular season to work with these players and a full off season this year to prepare for 2018-19.
Yeah, and what I really like about TJ Tibbs as head coach of CSI Dolphins is he wants to make this a destination campus for the area's best players. It's no longer about, well, we're your option in case something else doesn't work out, or, you know, we're your option if you don't get that scholarship somewhere else, or, you know, we're your option if you're looking for CUNY. It's like CSI has now become your destination. This is the place where you really need to play basketball if you want to be something in this area. And that's a really bold statement for a CUNY school, any CUNY school, to make, because the CUNY men's basketball teams have always been looked at as, well, they're the last foot in the door. They're the last team to really, you'd expect to make noise. They're the last team you consider for a regional ranking. They're the last team you consider for an advanced ranking in the national tournament. And TJ Tibbs has set up this culture at CSI, Mike, where winning the CUNY championship is great and it's something to look forward to. But we're interested in winning a national championship here at CSI. So that kind of mindset is embedded into the minds of these 14 kids who are picking up basketball. They're as great a kids as you're ever going to meet. They're respectful, they're humble, and when it comes time to be on the basketball court, they are as focused as you can get, and they have one mission, and that's to win games.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Dave, and, that's going to start with their point guard, Christian Taylor, and, you mentioned before that what the Dolphins' goals are and what the Dolphins are striving for, and you look at a Christian picking up 38 points, Dave, on 14 of 20 shooting in his last game in the NCAA championships on the road in a hostile environment against Cabrini, a game that the Dolphins lost by 2 points after picking up a 1-point lead in the final minutes. And, you talk to head coach TJ Tibbs about it, and, he won't talk to you about being satisfied about being close. He'll talk to you about how we're going to get those extra points to win that first-round game in the upcoming year.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, Mike. It's about, basically leaving it all out on the court, and also, Mike, letting your opponents know that you're not here to show up. You're not here just to say that you competed. You're here to win the game, and that's what I think CSI did. And, specifically Christian Taylor, Mike, we knew he was going to be CSI's best player going into the season. We didn't know how good he could really be, and he just got better and better and better. And really, Mike, when you look at the entire CSI roster from last year, what player didn't get better and better and better? They all did. And that's a testament to great coaching. It's a testament to great focus. It's a testament for not letting negative energy really get involved when you hit a rough patch. And the Dolphins did hit a rough patch towards the end of the season in CUNY play. But the resiliency, the focus, that's what really makes good teams great. And the Dolphins had that last year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dave, because, the CSI Dolphin team went down the stretch and, they had a streak where they lost 3 out of 4 games. They lost their final regular season game against Lehman College, but when they got into the CUNY tournament, they found the way to win close games in all 3 of those contests, which ended with a 2-point win against Lehman College, and then went on the road to Cabrini and gave them everything that they wanted. And, the Dolphins are going to look to build on that success this year. And, they're going to do it with 7 freshman players on the roster and no seniors on the roster. So it's going to be an interesting mix of some returning talent with Taylor, Latunji, and Desteem, and a couple of other supporting players that are returning, and a lot of freshman players, and it's going to be interesting to see it. You mentioned it before, which of these freshman players are really able to step up and produce early in their college careers.
Yeah, that's just it, Mike. Who is going to enter through that door? There's an opening in that door. There's a couple of openings in that door. Who's going to break through that door? And, Montclair State could say the same thing. They lost their leading scorer from last year, but they're also very young. They got 19 players on their roster. They're all hungry, too, and they know that the College of Staten Island, they were within 2 points of winning a first-round NCAA game, so they're looking to make a statement as well. So 2 teams that are very similar in many ways and very talented in many ways, Mike, and this should be an extraordinary 40 minutes of action coming up.
Yeah, it really should, Dave. And, these are a pair of teams that have really battled each other really hard, both here and at Montclair State. And, they've been 2 teams that have been pretty evenly matched over the last few years. And, for the Dolphins here tonight, a good opportunity to see where they are early in the season at home. And then, they'll go out on the road for a couple of games, Dave, and we won't have them back here at the CSI Sports and Recreation Center for almost a month. It'll be December 4th before their next home game against John Jay. So 6 road games, which I'm hoping to go get a chance to see some of these games on the road. And you look at these teams, Dave, and you mentioned it before, head coach TJ Tibbs, not playing around on the schedule here, not scheduling any cream puffs. A lot of tough games coming up here in the first month.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have Tufts and Bates coming in for the, I forget who the 4th team is for the Tournament of Heroes, but that's two NESCAC teams that are always involved, always very good. You know, this is the CSI Dolphins schedule. If you're just a basketball fan, forget about a CSI fan, forget about, you know, who you pull for. If you're a fan of basketball, Division III basketball, the CSI schedule is what's to check out because they are just littered with great talent. And TJ Tibbs really, if you hear him talk about it, he'll tell you straight up. He'll say, look, we're not giving anybody any excuse. We're not giving anybody any excuse to say, you play in the CUNY, your strength of schedule isn't as good. If you want a piece of this, if you want a piece of this program, we're going to give you that opportunity, and we're going to prove to you that we belong with you. That's, again, bold statement. It's not about ego. It's about, demanding respect. It's about commanding respect, not demanding respect, and that's what this team is all about, Mike. That's what makes them fun to watch, win or lose, and it's going to start with a great one. One of these teams is going to lose this ball game today, and it's not going to be fair because both of these teams are very good and are very, very exciting teams to watch.
Yeah, and the Dolphins will open up with 8 out of their first 10 games on the road and actually 8 out of their next 9 on the road after opening the season here tonight at the CSI Sports and Recreation Center. So not only a good opportunity, Dave, for the Dolphins to get started with a win at home against a very strong team, but they'll be out on the road together, and sometimes that could be a good way to build the team up, especially with so many new players.
Absolutely, and one of the things that head coach TJ Tibbs knows is that this schedule is not by accident. These first 8 out of 10 games on the road is not by accident. Because if you ask him why the schedule is made up that way, he'll tell you. He's like, look, we don't have any seniors on our team. Everybody here is coming back, and these games that we're on the road for, we're getting them at home next year for our senior-laden team that is going to be looking to build off this season. So no doubt about it, this is going to be this was done on purpose, but the Dolphins get a good one at home to enjoy. The fans have come out in a mass. They're collected on the far side in your screen. But on the near side, they're in force here tonight as well.
So we're just moments away from the start of tonight's game between the College of Staten Island and Montclair State, the home opener of the 2018 season here for the CSI Dolphins. And why the players are being introduced out on the floor, why don't we get the starting lineups? And here to bring them to you, my broadcast partner, Dave Pizzuto. Dave?
All right, and as you see them on the screen, these are the starters for MSU as they intro their 2018-19 season in numerical order. Number 1, Justin Porter. Number 2, Miles Mitchell-White. Number 4, Irving Callender the 4th. Jordan Roberson wears number 5, and number 15 is Akbar Hoffman. Those are the starters for MCU. Their head coach is Marlon Sears. The assistants are Will Bishop, Nick Sires, Andrew Ling, and Adam Green. For the CSI Dolphins, they will go as follows. Adeola Latunji, the CSI's second leading scorer, wears number 2. Rigo Destime with a number change. He wore number 4 last year. Will wear number 3 this year. He starts. Number 14, Christian Kopech. It was his first season last year with the Dolphins, but he's a junior transfer. 23, Christian Taylor, the CUNY Finals MVP. He's a junior, and James Delahanty, the other junior, wearing number 42, the man in the middle at 6'6". TJ Tibbs in his second season as the head coach. The assistants are Nick Duran, JC Albano, Abraham Akanmu, Oren McKay Jr., and Kurt Manesey.
Yeah, so we're just moments away from the start of today's game, and you look at the starting lineup for the Dolphins, and not really a surprise, head coach TJ Tibbs, 5 returning players, Dave, in the starting lineup for the Dolphins.
Yeah, absolutely, but it might not end that way. The Dolphins are going to give you a lot of different looks. He did say that he will have a shorter leash with a lot of his starters, and not because he wants to, but because he wants to get a lot of his guys involved and in the game. So expect to see a lot of different things from CSI throughout the game. We'll see how it pans out for them.
Dave, we look at the starting lineup here for Montclair State. One player at 6'8", a 6'6", and a 6'5" player. And then you look down the roster, Dave. They have 2 6'6" players, 1 6'8" player, and 2 6'9" players coming off the bench. A lot of size on this Montclair State team. How are the Dolphins going to battle that, Dave?
Well, they got to battle it by setting tempo. They have to force their tempo on the game. If they want to run, they got to run. Usually when you're playing against bigs, you want to run. You want to quicken the tempo. You want to get them backpedaling instead of front pedaling or squaring up on the body. So this is what the Dolphins need to do. They need to set the pace early, play their style of basketball early, and they can't fall behind early too, Mike. We've seen times where the Dolphins have spent so much time trying to get back into games. They need to really set the tone. This is going to be a 3, 4, 5-point game either way. If they keep it that way within the last 5 minutes, this should be a fun one to watch.
Dave, you look at this CSI Dolphin team that shot 44% from the floor last year, but one of the things you really got to be impressed with is Christian Taylor at a guard shooting 56% from the field last year.
His mid-range game, Mike, was just off the charts last year. So good from everywhere on the court. Hard to guard, and Dolphins are banking on that again this season.
So the Dolphins will get ready to jump, and the tip is controlled, and it'll be Mitchell White for the Red Hawks with the first possession. Edino getting the ball inside, working it over to Roberson. Roberson working the ball over to Callender as he forces that shot. It's no good. Delahanty there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins, and good defensive start for CSI.
Yeah, and for CSI, Delahanty is the biggest player on the floor, so they need those rebounds from the big guy.
A little bit of different uniforms for the Dolphins this year. A beautiful backdoor move as the layup inside to Latunji. Nice play by the Dolphins. They score first.
That'll get this crowd excited. I'm sure the coaching staff and the fans wanted Addy to dunk that one, but a great play nonetheless.
Montclair State now looking to work the ball inside. A nice feed inside, and they're able to lay it up and in. As that time Roberson able to work his way inside for the layup.
Yeah, Roberson is a senior on this team. A lot of experience and a lot of points coming back from Montclair.
Montclair and the Dolphins now tied at 2 as the Dolphins look to work the ball inside, and the layup is up and in. So Taylor hits his first shot of the year, and the Dolphins have scored on their first 2 possessions.
Yeah, and Taylor over the 6'6" Roberson on that play.
Layup is missed by the Red Hawks, but they're able to grab the rebound as that's Hoffman. They work the ball over now to Callender. Callender's baseline shot from the free throw line extended is no good, but he'll draw the foul.
Yeah, Callender did a nice job of selling that one, too. That contact came a little bit late into his extension. Did a nice job to get to the line here.
So Callender will go to the free throw line. He only went to the line 7 times last year, 4 of 7.
Yeah, Callender played in 13 games last year as a freshman for Montclair State. Wore number 3 last year, wearing 4 this year.
As he hits the first, and this Montclair State team, Dave, always a lot of players on the team, and they like to play a lot of players. But just like the Dolphins, a lot of opportunities for minutes this year available.
Oh, and they know that too. There's a lot of hungry players. All 5 of these players are returning players for Montclair, but a lot of players who will see action here tonight.
Now the Dolphins with the basketball. Delahanty feeds it inside to Taylor once again. This time his shot is up and no good, and Mitchell White is there to grab the rebound. He gets the ball over to Roberson. Roberson now handing the ball off to Hoffman as now they look to feed the ball inside to Roberson as his off-balance one-hander is no good. Latunji there to grab the rebound.
Another good defensive play by James Delahanty, letting Roberson feel the body coming in.
Taylor driving down the lane. His layup is up and no good, but he'll draw the foul.
Yeah, and this is something else that Christian Taylor did very well last year, getting to the line, and how good was he, especially later in the season. He shot 67% from the line, went to the line 98 times, 98 free throws, made 66 of them last year, and misses that one long.
And, it seemed like Christian got better game by game last year, Dave, especially offensively. He seemed to get more efficient with his offense as the season went along.
Yeah, and, he was banged up towards the beginning of the season, too. He missed the game early in the year due to illness, but he was really strong towards the end. And at the end, he really identified himself as the go-to player on this team.
Hoffman with the basketball, now working the ball up in the corner to Callender. Callender picking up his dribble, getting it over to Amido. Pass back, and that long jumper is up no good as Montclair State struggling with their shooting, and DeSteam with the ball for the Dolphins. Delahanty, who's been working out at the top of the key here early in the first quarter, now gets it over to Taylor. Taylor tried the crossover dribble. Now Latunji loses possession. Good defense there by Montclair State as Mitchell White looks to take the ball coast to coast. He misses the layup, but Roberson is there to tip the ball in.
Yeah, that was all started by the first turnover of the game by the Dolphins. It gets the Hawks into a tie here. on a nice second chance point.
Taylor with the basketball now. Just 3 minutes into the game, and we're tied at 5. Now Latunji. Latunji banged with the body, and he'll get called for the travel.
Yeah, and Latunji exchanging some words with Justin Porter as well. Latunji wanted a foul. Porter says no way. He wins that argument this time around anyway.
Yep, as the Dolphins turn the ball over here. And the Redhawks will already have a substitution here early in the game as it'll be Justin Porter checking into the game.
Yeah, I misspoke before. Miles Mitchell-White wears number 1. I was reading Porter as number 1, but Porter checks into the game now wearing 0.
Porter now handing the ball off to Hoffman. Hoffman working the ball back for the open three-pointer. That's no good. And the Dolphins control the rebound and feed the ball up over to Latunji. Taylor with the basketball. Now Desteem. Desteem fakes the player off his feet, but misses the jumper from the free throw line, and the rebound grabbed by Porter. Over to Mitchell-White. Back to Porter. Nice feed inside to Robeson, who misses the layup, but grabs his own rebound. Ball tipped around, and now it's Desteem controlling the ball for the Dolphins. Both teams struggling with their offense, Dave, here a little bit in these first 4 minutes.
Yeah, Montclair 2 for 9 from the floor. Dolphins 2 for 4.
As Taylor drives down the lane and lays it up and in, and he's gotten to the rim 3 or 4 times already here, Dave, in this first half.
He gets so much real estate every stride that he takes. He's very deceptive with how long those legs are. He's able to really extend.
As Hoffman's jumper from the free throw line is no good. Montclair State now 2 for 10. As Latunji taking the ball coast to coast and lays it up and in.
It's a gorgeous move by Latunji. Another one of these tall, very long players for the Dolphins who's able to extend above the rim.
Montclair State with the basketball now down by 4. Porter working it around to Robson. They look to feed the ball inside, and another nice defensive play this time, and the Dolphins come away with the basketball as Kopik gets the ball up over to Taylor. Taylor out by the three-point line, looking to work on Mitchell-White. Taylor driving it inside. A nice pass, but missing the shot that time is Desteem, and the Redhawks control the rebound. Worked inside to Robeson, who lays it up and in. Robeson with the basket.
That's a big swing because the Dolphins had an open layup on this side. Redhawks convert the other way. So instead of a 6-point Dolphins lead, now they have the ball with only up by 2.
Taylor with the basketball. Taylor once again driving the ball down the lane, looking for the foul, doesn't get it. And here comes Montclair State with the basketball. Hoffman pulls up. His jumper is up off the top of the backboard, no good. And we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins. Tough foul called on CSI.
That was an ugly foul as the Dolphins will bring in 3 players. They're going to call the foul first, but there's one player we talked about, Shamal Martin, 6'7" project player from Newdorf coming in. Austin Mick, tremendous shooter for the Dolphins. You cannot leave him open anywhere. He will bury you. And Chris Velasquez, the Catholic High School Player of the Year, wearing 0 for the Dolphins, all check in.
So 5.5 minutes go by before we get our first look at 3 new freshmen for the CSI Dolphins. Porter looking to back in the much smaller Latunji. He looks to feed the ball inside. The reverse layup is up and no good, and the rebound controlled by the Dolphins as Martin gets his first rebound.
Yeah, Jalen Parham with the miss. That was a gorgeous pass inside by Porter.
Dolphins working the ball around now as that's Mick with the basketball. Over to Latunji. He looks to feed the ball inside to Martin. Martin looking to back in the defender and using the right hand, lays it up and in. Nice move, a rebound and a basket already for Martin.
He's a gorgeous looking player, Mike. Just the way he's formed, his body is just, he's tough to defend. He's got a lot of reach. Just really going to be a project. Could be one of the best players that CUNY has to see.
Rosiba with the basketball, working it back to Mitchell-White. He feeds the ball across, and the reverse layup missed once again as Montclair missing a lot of shots inside the paint. That was Parham that time with the miss. Mick with the basketball, feeding it inside to Martin. Now Latunji. Dolphins working the ball around the perimeter quickly. They get it and look to feed it inside to Martin that time, and he's going to draw a foul on the Redhawks.
Yeah, that was an easy call. Jalen Parham draped all over Martin. And for Montclair State, they're fortunate to only be down by 4 here. They're shooting just 3 of 14 from the floor, 21% here in the early stages.
As the Dolphins look to inbound the basketball, and now it's Latunji out by the three-point line. Dolphins with 15 to shoot. Taylor looking to take the ball to the rim once again. His shot is up, no good, but he's able to grab the rebound and now put it back for the long three. That's no good as Mick misses his first shot as a Dolphin.
Yeah, he was open too. It was about 1.5 feet above the line, but that's one that Mick wants to have back.
Demo with the shot. That's no good, but he's able to grab his own rebound, take the ball to the basket. I thought he might have got called for the travel there, but instead the Dolphins get called for the foul. Head coach T.J. Tibbs not liking the call.
Yeah, and I believe that's Montclair's third offensive rebound here in the early stages as well. And the second will lead to some second chance points here if Eddie Emoto can convert. 6'8" junior from Hackensack High School.
So Amudo will go to the free throw line. And his first is up and in. So that cuts the Dolphin lead down to 3.
Yeah, Amudo, 73% from the line last season, so pretty steady here.
One more free throw upcoming here from Eddie as he tries to make it a 2-point game. That shot is up, no good. The Hawks able to control the rebound, though, as it comes down to Parham, and now the Hawks with a fresh shot clock.
Offensive rebounds 4 and 5 from Montclair on that last free throw.
Montclair State working the ball up over to Porter. Porter now getting it over to Amido, and he feeds the ball inside, and Latunji coming over, a beautiful block on Parham.
That'll get these kids excited in the building.
Taylor with the basketball, picking up his dribble, now gives the ball out over to Martin. He'll get it back to Taylor as he looks to set up the offense now with 17 seconds to shoot. And Mudo looking for Taylor to approach the three-point line before he picks up guarding him. Latunji, bounce pass over to Mick. Now it's Taylor. Taylor once again driving the ball in the lane, this time rejected though. A lot of size inside for Montclair State.
Yeah, and a little bit of frustration from Christian Hill. His last couple of attempts, he's shaking his head. I don't think his teammates know where to go, and he was a little frustrated by the quarterback play there in the backcourt.
Montclair State working the ball to the three-point line as that's Rosiba getting inside, and now it looks like it's Martin going to be called for the foul, and kind of looked like he went straight up with his arm, Dave, but yet got called for the personal foul.
Yeah, he might have been backpedaling just a bit, Mike. I thought if Shamal just kept his positioning, he would have been better off there. But albeit, it'll be the senior getting to the line. Sorry.
Yeah, so Javon Roshiba will go to the free throw line to shoot 2, and he hits the first.
Yeah, I got to get my pronunciation sheet ahead of me, Mike, as Javon Rosbia at the line. Montclair State has gotten the last couple of points via the line. Their shooting has not been good here. That'll even out over time, but Montclair just 3 of 16 from the field. And that's going to be an offensive foul on the rebound attempt by Roberson.
Yeah, so Rosiba, a player that only appeared in 3 games last year for the Red Hawks, and, one of those players that's now getting an opportunity to fill all those open minutes there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only 3 seniors on this team still, but a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors on this Montclair State team.
So the Dolphins have gone a little bit cold here, lead by 2, 11-9, as they look to pick things up offensively as Latunji's pass will go out of bounds. And, just some of the growing pains, Dave, of learning each other early in the season.
Yeah, and definitely like some communication issues there. The Dolphins like to play at a fast pace, especially in the half court. And, means a lot of communication needs to be done and a lot of feeling around.
So Roberson with the basketball now as he hands the ball off to Mitchell White as the Red Hawks work the ball around the perimeter, now dump it into Amudo. His shot is up and no good, but now Martin's going to draw the foul, and that'll be 2 quick fouls on Shamal.
Yeah, and that's what T.J. Tibbs is telling Martin a little bit off your screen is don't just flail your arms. Get those arms straight up in the air. There's no reason to swing them around. When you're 6'7", Mike, sometimes you want to get to every ball, but just having your hand straight up in the air make you almost an 8.5-foot player.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Absolutely. So Shamal will check out of the game after the free throw, and James Delahanty will come in to replace him. But, he was just in for a couple of minutes. You saw a couple of things that you like, but the most important thing is you got to be able to stay on the floor.
Exactly. And Delahanty did play well in the first couple of minutes he was in the game. But Montclair State at the free throw line been chipping away, down by just one. And they haven't been really good at the free throw line either, and they've gotten their opportunities. 4 of 8 here in the early going.
So now Taylor with the basketball out by the three-point line as he works the ball out over to Mick. Mick picking up his dribble. He works the ball over the corner, and Taylor's jumper is up and in. So, you mentioned the mid-range game by Christian Taylor. He gets the basket. He has 7 of the 13 points. It's a 30-second timeout, Dave, so let's keep it right here.
Yeah, and that time that was set up by the explosive play at the perimeter by Velasquez, able to kind of weave inside, draws the attention to him, is able to kick out to Christian Taylor, and Taylor has just such a patient shot and a patient release, Mike. He makes it look easy. A tough baseline shot over an extended defender gets it to go.
Yeah, Dave, we've played a little bit less than half of this first half here in the opening game for the Dolphins, but just like the women's team, a lot of reasons to be excited for the men as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see a lot more what the Dolphins can give us. Always the first couple of minutes, there's a lot of nerves going on. There's a lot of where do I need to be? And, again, there's not a lot of film that you could study on some of these players too. So, the more they get into it, the better they'll be.
So Montclair State with the basketball now, trailing by 3 as they work the ball in the corner to Hoffman. Hoffman working the ball over to Amudo. Amudo working the ball over, and now we're going to have an offensive foul called, and I believe that'll be on Jordan Roberson as the senior will pick up the offensive foul.
Yeah, it was actually on Miles Mitchell White who got the offensive foul. Used that forearm to kind of get some space from Velasquez. See if the Dolphins can cash in on the error.
So now Taylor with the basketball. The Dolphins with a 3-point lead. He works the ball up over to Mick. Mick back to Taylor. Taylor backs up for the jumper. That's up no good. Delahanty grabs the rebound but can't complete the play. And now we're going to have a whistle and a jump ball. Nice play that time by Delahanty, sticking with it after missing the jumper.
Yeah, Delahanty might have this is a jump ball. It's CSI's possession, yeah. Well, if things don't work out as a basketball player, he can make his living as a lawyer, Mike. I think he talked the judge into that call.
Yeah. So nice move that time by James, and the Dolphins will maintain possession with 10 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in this first half, and the Dolphins with a 3-point lead. They work the ball up over to Mick. That shot is up no good.
Mick has missed his first 2 threes pretty badly.
As driving down the lane that time and drawing the foul will be Mitchell White. As that time the Dolphin defense opened up a little bit, he was able to get his way inside and draw the foul.
Yeah, that all the result of a long rebound off the miss. Was able to ignite Montclair State up, and might have to go into the play-by-play, but I believe Montclair State's last 5 or 6 points have come right here at the free throw line.
Yeah, not only that, Dave, but Delahanty has now picked up his 3rd personal. So Delahanty has 3, Martin has 2, and those are the only 2 Dolphin players in your program that are listed over 6'4".
Yeah, that's going to be the key, keeping those kids on the floor like you mentioned earlier. Meanwhile, Montclair's last 5 points have come via the free throw line. They're 5 of 9 from the game. And they're down by just 2, 13-11.
So one more free throw upcoming as that second free throw is up no good, and Latunji there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Montclair just 5 of 10 from the free throw line too.
Yeah, they've really been struggling with their shooting so far here in this first half. Destine with the basketball out beyond the 3-point line. Hands the ball off to Taylor. Taylor working his way inside. He kicks the ball out for the baseline jumper that time. Is going to be up no good as Kopech misses his first shot. Montclair State looking to come back quickly as Roddy's shot is possibly blocked. And now Kopech getting the ball up over to Latunji. Latunji looking to work one-on-one. That shot is up, no good. And here comes Montclair State with the rebound as Mitchell White looking to go coast to coast and lays it up and in, and that's twice, Dave, that he's been able to penetrate right into the Dolphin defense.
Yeah, and again, off of a CSI miss via the blocked shot. We're back at 0-0.
13-13 the score as Desteem drives down the lane. That layup is up and no good, and the Dolphins have really gone ice cold now from the floor. That floater is up, no good as Hoffman misses, and the Dolphins control the rebound, and they need to get a good set play going here, Dave.
Yeah, Dolphins called that timeout after that baseline jumper by Christian Taylor. Gave them that 13-point. They've been cold ever since.
Both teams yet to hit a three-pointer here this afternoon. The Dolphins missed another shot from inside the paint, and here comes Montclair State feeding the ball inside, and that time Roberson is there to lay the ball up and in and give the Hawks the 15-13 lead.
So Montclair State, after going 4 of 19, hit that last one.
Latunji, his open three-pointer is in and out, and Montclair State controls the rebound, and here comes Mitchell White. Roberson with the basketball. Roberson handing the ball off now to Nahini. Waddy with the basketball as Montclair State looking to work the ball around and laying it up and in that time is Roberson as the Dolphins take a timeout as their lead has turned into a 4-point deficit, 17-13 with 8 minutes to go in the first half. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, so let's keep it right here, Dave, but you can see the Dolphins really struggling on the offensive end.
Yeah, it's been really tough here, Mike. The Dolphins right now are just, I believe, 6 of 20 from the floor. So they've put up to Montclair State, which is 6 of 21. But it's really been the consecutive misses for the Dolphins. Have to believe they've been over their last 7 or 8 shots, and it's allowed Montclair State to take their biggest lead, 4 points, after the Dolphins went up by 4, 13-9.
Yeah, and Montclair State's been able to get to the free throw line, going to the line 10 times. They haven't taken advantage of it as they've only hit 5 of their 10. The Dolphins have been to the line just 1 time for 2 free throws here this afternoon, or this evening. Taylor with the basketball for the Dolphins. Dolphins looking to get a good offensive possession here off the timeout. Desteem over to Kopech. Kopech feeding the ball into Latunji. He tries to back in the smaller player in Mitchell White, and he's able to break the Dolphin streak with a basket.
Yeah, TJ Tibbs wants to get right back down to basics. Give it into the hands of your best shooters. Let them get in close. Let them do what they do best. And Adeola Latunji has been doing that the last couple of years here for CSI to a lot of success.
So now the Red Hawks with the basketball at a 2-point lead as it's Roberson with the basketball. Roberson working the ball in the corner now to Hoffman. They work the ball around the perimeter. The open three-pointer that time is good as Callender with the open three-pointer to give the Red Hawks their biggest lead of the night.
Yeah, it's one of those exciting sophomores Montclair State wants a lot more out of, and they just got a big open shot 3 from Callender.
So 9-point swing in the game as Montclair State with their biggest lead of the game, but a beautiful backdoor cut that time by Taylor Desteem with the assist, and the Dolphins make it a 3-point game.
Yeah, we talked about communication earlier, Mike, and those are 2 players that have played together now all of last year. Rigo Desteem feeding Christian Taylor.
As that open three-pointer is good that time by Hoffman, and Montclair State now with a 6-point lead. Dave, Dolphins have scored 17 points, 15 of them by Taylor and Latunji. Desteem with the basketball. Now he works the ball over and driving inside and missing the shot that time of the Dolphins. And here comes Montclair State looking to run. Mitchell White taking the ball down, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins once again.
Yeah, that was on Andrew Cartalis, who had checked in earlier. He's the one who missed the layup after a nice move from the perimeter. Actually, it was called on Christian Taylor, the foul. It's his first, and Miles Mitchell White will go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, so Montclair State continuing to go to the free throw line as that first free throw is up and in. Montclair State now 6 of 11 from the line here in this first half.
Dolphins have gotten their share of good shots, good looks. They just haven't been able to find consistency. And the Montclair State Red Hawks are starting to find their rhythm a little bit more, Mike, after a horrendous shooting start. I think they were 3 for their first 16. They're 5 of their last 7 from the field now.
Yeah, and the Dolphins now find themselves down 25-17 as Montclair State continues to build on their lead, and they now have the lead up to 8. So big possession here for the Dolphins. Latunji, bounce pass is retrieved now by Cartalis. Now it's Latunji once again, a nice move, but once again not able to hit the shot. That time Adiola able to get some open space. Missed a short jumper.
Yeah, again, you want to go back to the well. You want to go back to what works. Adiola Latunji lost his man, just couldn't get it to fall.
And Montclair State really starting to heat up from the field, and they continue to be very effective from the floor here in the latter stages of this first half.
Yeah, that was Amudo with the bucket.
Driving inside that time and missing the shot is destined for the Dolphins, and Montclair State with the basketball and playing with a lot of confidence, and another foul called on the Dolphins.
I believe this one might be on Kopech. Yeah, it will be on Christian Kopech. It'll be his first as Velasquez is getting set to check back in for the Dolphins. He will. And looks like this will be a bonus type situation here as Montclair State will shoot a 1-and-1, I believe. And it will be Amudo going to the line again, number 2.
So was a 1-and-1. You were right, Dave. And it's going to be Amudo going to the free throw line. Montclair State looking to build on their biggest lead of the game, which is 10 points.
19-4 run Montclair is on right now. Dolphins were up 13-9 at one point.
As that free throw is up and in, and the Hawks now lead by 11, and they'll have an opportunity to make it a 12-point lead as they're going to have an opportunity to attempt their 14th free throw here in the first half. The Dolphins have just been to the line for 2 free throws. The second free throw is up and no good, and the Dolphins control the rebound and really need to get themselves some good offensive possessions here as Kopech very nearly turned the ball over, and now it's Latunji. Latunji pulling up for the jumper, and that's good. And
yeah, Latunji pumping himself up, too, at the end of that shot. He's really lost his defender a couple of times.
As once again, Montclair State able to get the ball right up to the rim as Hoffman lays it up and in. He has 7, and it's now a 30-19 Red Hawk lead. Taylor, beautiful crossover move, and he lays it up and in.
Dolphins now got to think about getting some stops here on the defensive side of the floor. Montclair has been converting almost every time.
Long three-pointer, and that's good, and Montclair State really getting red hot from the field as Callender with another three-pointer, and Montclair State now with a 12-point lead.
Yeah, they've been heated up ever since that tough start.
Taylor with the basketball. Taylor working the ball out in the corner now to Latunji. Latunji looking to work off a double team, and his floater in the lane is good, and it's the offense for the Dolphins have been all Latunji and Taylor, Dave, here in the first half.
You know where CSI is going when they need points. Go to the well.
As Montclair State bringing the ball inside once again. Boy, oh boy, another foul called on the Dolphins, and that's going to be an N1. And, you know, I thought the Montclair State player might have traveled there before getting the shot up, but instead the Dolphins pick up another foul, and Montclair State will go to the line once again here in this first half.
Foul count is a little bit lopsided as well. That was the Dolphins' 9th foul of the half. Montclair guilty of only 4 infractions so far, but it will put Amudo on the line again for Montclair State. This time only shooting 1, actually.
So 35-23 the score. 12-point game here, and you know, if you look at where the Dolphins are struggling a little bit, Dave, yes, they haven't been able to play well offensively, but Montclair State really heating up from the outside and then able to get a few possessions inside as well.
Yeah, well, they just haven't been missing on their trips down the floor, and the Dolphins have really had to work hard inside, and the Dolphins are going to need that 3rd or 4th scorer, Mike, because Taylor and Latunji doing a lot.
As Taylor's jumper is up and in as Taylor and Latunji continue to be the scoring for the Dolphins here in this first half, as we're going to have a whistle at a timeout taken here by the Red Hawks. 35-25. The Dolphins have cut the score to 10.
30-second
timeout, Dave. So we'll have an opportunity to keep it right here again. Dolphins started out strong offensively, but really went through a long stretch where they were struggling for good offensive possessions.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we said in the opening, Mike. Who's it going to be? Who's going to open up that door? Who's going to come through that open door? And right now, the Dolphins haven't had an answer, and so they've been forced to kind of work through Taylor and Latunji on the offensive floor. Now, the good part is that it's working. They're converting, but it's not sustainable. And the Dolphins are going to need, 2 or 3 players. You see Chris Velasquez on the floor. Austin Mick is back in. Christian Kopech. These are guys with good shots, but when they're not falling, it could be, it could be very tough sledding offensively for the Dolphins. So they need to find some rhythm here. Make this a 5-6 point game by halftime.
Yeah, and Dave, if there's one thing that the Dolphins really struggled with at times last year was these stretches where they struggled a little bit to score points, and they've usually been able to find a way to fight their way out of it. But against a good team like the Red Hawks, when you find yourself down by 12, it can make it tough to come back, especially with their size.
Yeah, and there's another offensive rebound and a putback by Amudo.
As now Taylor looking to take the ball inside. What a move that time by Christian Taylor over the big man.
Sorry, Mike, I don't mean to cut you off. I just don't know how he does it. I mean, just how he's able to just get to one space and another so quickly. That's a bad call defensively on Chris Velasquez. All he did was reach out and grab the ball. That's a weird call. It's going to put Montclair at the line for 2.
Yeah, Montclair State has really been able to take a little bit of an advantage of some of these whistles here in this first half. And, I thought that was really a very tough call on Velasquez, about 30 feet from the basket with the ball on the floor. And instead, it's going to be Callender going to the line to shoot 2.
Well, the free throw count is now 16-2 in favor of Montclair State.
And one more free throw upcoming here for Callender.
Something that I'm sure the coaching staff at CSI is going to maybe whisper in the official's ear as they go into halftime pretty soon, is need to get this thing evened up a little bit. Montclair State, 9 of 16 from the line.
So 16-2, the free throw totals here in the first half. Taylor with the basketball, getting the ball over to Latunji. Now it's Kopech putting up the 3 that's way off, and the rebound is going to be grabbed now by Parnham. Feeds it inside to Mitchell White, and now we're going to have a whistle and a foul. Boy, oh boy, wow. Dave, if anything, I thought that might be an offensive foul. Instead, a foul called on the Dolphins. Tough call that time by the officials.
It could be just the semicircle and the hemisphere call there, but there was no way. Made it a 14-point game. Now the fans are really giving it to the officials. 10 for 17, Montclair State is at the line. The Dolphins have taken just 2 shots at the free throw line. This will be Montclair's 18th.
Yeah, so Montclair State now with their biggest lead of the game, 42, I should say, to 27. Destine with the basketball. He works the ball up over to Mick. Now it's Kopech. Kopech handing the ball up over to Destine. His shot's going to be blocked away, and the rebound is going to be grabbed now by Mitchell White. Here comes Mitchell White driving down the lane. His shot is up, no good. Ademo grabs the rebound. And we're going to have a whistle, and it'll be Dolphin basketball.
Yeah, I believe they were out of bounds when they came down with that rebound. Dolphins dodge a little bit of a bullet because they otherwise would have given up the offensive rebound. Rigo Destime comes out for Cartalis. Destime on that last offensive drive had a wide open lane, decided to pull up for the jumper, got it blocked.
So now it'll be the Dolphins with the basketball as it's Taylor. Taylor working the ball out for the open three-pointer, and that's good. And finally, Dolphins get a point from someone other than Taylor and Latunji. Big three-pointer that time for Kopech.
Yeah, I don't have a chance to look at the play-by-play, Mike, but I don't know when the last time somebody else had a basket for the Dolphins.
According to the scoreboard, that's the first time.
Absolutely right.
So it'll be Montclair State basketball, 42-30, a minute 51 remaining, 30 on the shot clock for the Red Hawks. Mitchell White spinning his way in the lane and lays it up and in. Nice play that time by Mitchell White.
Yeah, he came all the way around with that right arm, got it up over a couple of defenders. That's a gorgeous play there.
Taylor with the basketball. Taylor's pass is knocked away. It'll be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Red Hawks, so it will be Dolphin basketball.
Couple big possessions here, last 90 seconds of the first half. Dolphins down by 14.
Yeah, if you're the Dolphins, you want to see if you can get it within double digits as Taylor working his way inside. His off-balance shot is no good. Good defense that time by Porter. And here comes Mitchell White, a beautiful feed inside. And we're going to have a whistle and another foul called on the play. Is time a little bit of a push inside, and that's going to send Montclair State to the free throw line, a place they've been very familiar with, as free throws number 19 and 20 will come up for the Red Hawks now.
Yeah, now Montclair's just taking advantage of the transition game. CSI's missing a lot of shots, and Montclair State immediately is rushing down the floor. They want transition baskets and then getting them, as we're going to see our first look from Jonathan Badmus coming in for the Dolphins, a 6'3" freshman guard. Some big 79 seconds here for him.
So Kopech will check out of the game. The second free throw is up, no good, and the rebound is grabbed by Mick. And here come the Dolphins, down by 15 with a minute 10 left here in the first half. Latunji with the basketball. Latunji jumping inside. His shot is up, no good. And the rebound controlled by the Red Hawks. And feed inside, and the layup that time by Roberson is up, no good, but he's able to tip it up and in. And now Montclair State really starting to pound the ball inside on the Dolphins.
Yeah, they are dominating on the inside too now, Mike, without the presence of Delahanty and Martin, both on the bench with foul trouble.
As Mick looks to drive down, and hold on a minute.
We'll have
a foul on the Red Hawks.
Dolphins going to the line for the first time since the early minutes. The free throws have just been astounding. Montclair State 12 of 20 from the line. The Dolphins just 1 of 2. And the Dolphins are not going to the line here.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, I didn't think that was a shooting foul. I thought the officials might have made a mistake, but they're right as the Dolphins will inbound the basketball. Latunji, pull-up jumper is up and in. So Latunji with the basket as he now has 14. Taylor has 15. 29 of the 32 between those two players, as the Red Hawks with the basketball with about a 2.5 differential on the shot clock and the game clock here in the first half.
Yeah, they're going to force this shot clock all the way down before they attempt a shot.
Mitchell White with the basketball. He's played well. He has 10 here for the Red Hawks in this first half. Nice crossover dribble, and his open shot is up, in and out, as the shot clock was expiring, and that's going to do it. 20 minutes in the books. Dolphins started out strong, but the Red Hawks were able to use their size, take advantage of a lot of free throw opportunities, and they will go into halftime with a 15-point lead. As TJ Tibbs will come over and join us here at halftime. And Coach, you go down into the half down by 15. What did you see from your team in that first 20 minutes?
First, I want to say how greatly I appreciate being back for another season with you, Mike and Dave. Being back here for another year, you guys do a phenomenal job, and just wanted to take that time out to make sure everybody knows that. But what I just see is that Montclair is, they're big. They're getting at us at the glass. They're getting post-ups. They're killing us inside. James Delahanty, Shamal Martin, we're doing a decent job, but then they got into foul trouble, and we're thin behind them. So our guys are fighting. They're trying hard, but they need to try a lot harder.
Coach, you mentioned the foul trouble for Delahanty and Martin picking up 2 quick fouls in just a couple of minutes. Montclair State went to the line 20 times in that first half compared to just 2 for the Dolphins. What can you do to turn that around a little bit?
I'm just telling them to keep driving. I think it's going to turn. I think they're going to realize that. I do think that Christian is getting a little contact there, but I also think that he needs to do a better job of going not to get fouled and going to get baskets. So we got to control that. It's nothing with the rest of them. They're doing a tremendous job, Montclair, of just attacking us and, getting calls. So hopefully that will turn in the second half.
TJ, last one before we let you go in the locker room. You got 32 points at halftime, 29 from Addy and Christian. How do you get your other players more involved offensively?
They just got to enjoy it. It's a lot of their first game, so this is a great experience for them. They're playing a great team, well coached. They just got to get their feet wet a little bit, and I'm confident in those guys. Their shots will start falling.
I'm confident in you guys, too. Go enjoy the halftime.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay, that's head coach TJ Tibbs, nice enough to join us here at halftime. The Dolphins trailing by a score of 47-32. So we'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be back, and we'll get you halftime statistics to get you ready for the start of the second half as the Dolphins trail the Red Hawks by a score of 47-32. You're watching men's basketball home opener coverage exclusively on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
she doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys. Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Do you want to retire like a champ?
We're back here at halftime. The College of Staten Island trailing Montclair State by a score of 47-32. The Dolphins have scored 29 of their 32 points with their returning players, Christian Taylor and Adeola Latunji. And for the Dolphins to be successful here, Dave, in the second half, they're going to have to find scoring from other players.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. You know, it's really hard, you know, the way they're manufacturing points. You can't just work with two players. It's just tough. As good as Christian Taylor and as good as Adeola Latunji are at generating offense, it's just you need other guys to step up and you need other guys to put the ball in the basket. And I agree with TJ. You know, a lot of it is nerves. A lot of it is a little bit of, you know, tentativeness with releasing the ball. But it'll happen. It'll fall. But the Dolphins need it to happen sooner rather than later.
You know, the Dolphins did a good job, Dave, in the first half protecting the basketball. They only turned the ball over 3 times, but you got to give Montclair State a lot of credit. First of all, we knew they would be a very talented team and a very deep team, but, you know, once they were able to get Delahanty and Martin to the bench, they knew they had a big size advantage, and they knew how to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and that's what good teams do, Mike. They make you play, you know, on your heels, and that's exactly what Montclair State did. So, you know, give them a lot of credit. They obviously know what they're doing. And it's going to be tough for the Dolphins to try and come back, but they have to try and do it, you know, little by little. You're not going to be able to bring this lead down in just one fell swoop. Dolphins have to focus now on chipping away and looking to get themselves back into it.
You know, Dave, you look at the team stats here in the first half, and, you know, Montclair State really has only scored one more basket from the floor than the Dolphins, but Montclair State doing a nice job from the three-point line as they went 3 of 7 in that first half compared to 1 for 6 for the Dolphins. And although Montclair State only hit 60% of their free throws, they hit 60% of 20 free throws for 12 points compared to just 1 for the Dolphins. And as the half has gone on and on, they've been able to rebound the ball a little bit more effectively on the offensive end as well, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the numbers in front that Mike just dictated. They're pretty even. I mean, you know, both started – Montclair started ice cold from the floor. CSI started a little bit hotter. But really the big difference is you look at line number 3, and that's been the story, the free throws and the fouls. I mean, we don't have fouls up there, but Dolphins were whistled with a lot of fouls, and it was the type of fouls on their big men that really sent them out of the game almost immediately. And the Dolphins from there lost the next line down, which is rebounds. But Dolphins are a -7 in that department. It's all as a result of the fouls and the big guys being out of the game.
Yeah, you know, and, you know, head coach TJ Tibbs always nice enough to join us when the team is doing well or when the team is struggling a little bit. And, you know, you listen to TJ talk. There are no excuses or anything else. He knows the team has to come out and play better in the second half, and, you know, and they're going to come out with that attitude. And, you know, again, Dave, we mentioned it before, a lot of new faces on this CSI Dolphin team. And, you know, you mentioned it a little bit during the first half, a little bit of unfamiliarity, a little bit of, you know, players trying to figure out where they need to be on the floor.
Yeah, just a little bit of, you know, a little bit of tentativeness, you know, not wanting to pull the trigger on some occasions because you're not exactly sure of where your teammate is, where he's going to be, and all that stuff. All those wrinkles kind of come out in the wash, you know, and the bottom line is the Dolphins just need to keep playing. But, again, you want to have success as you're learning, and Dolphins were able to have some in the early stages, but it kind of fell apart a little bit in the middle portion of this half, and they find themselves down by 15 when really they would have liked to have been down by about 5 or 6. But 20 minutes, a lot can happen.
Yeah, you know, Dave, and, you know, we just want to look ahead a little bit on the Dolphins schedule because we won't be back with you for a men's basketball broadcast until the December 4th home game against John Jay. But after this home game, Dave, for the CSI Dolphins, they'll be on the road for 8 of 9 games. And, looking down that schedule, I don't see very many powder puffs in those next 5 road non-conference games that they have coming up.
No, absolutely, and that's on purpose because you want to make your team well aware of what competition is like before their conference schedule starts, and before they get CCNY and then John Jay at home, Misericordia, Emory, Roanoke, NYU, and Stevens. I mean, it's murderer's row as far as trying to schedule regionally, and they're going to have their work cut out for them for sure.
Yeah, and it should be interesting as they'll go down to Virginia next weekend to play Emory, and then we'll see what happens in the tournament and how that shakes up. And then they'll travel out to Dallas, Pennsylvania. Their next game will be a week from yesterday, next Wednesday night against Misericordia. So a couple of nice road trips, good opportunity for the team to get out and really bond together, Dave.
Yeah, and the thing about TJ's teams, too, is that they do an intense amount of film work. So I'm sure that every play, every possession is going to be broken down for this CSI team. They're going to look at what they've done. They're going to look at the mistakes that they've made. And, maybe with this next half, they're going to look at some very positive things that they came back from after a big deficit at halftime. Again, 20 minutes is a lot of time to be played. Montclair was a plus 15 in the first 20. Dolphins want to be a plus 15 at least in these last 20.
Yeah, so 20 minutes to go here in the game this afternoon, and we look at the Dolphins, and we touched on it a little bit earlier. You have Latunji and Taylor shooting 13 of 24, but then you look at the rest of that Dolphin roster, and they've been struggling a little bit. But you know what, Dave? A fresh 20 minutes and an opportunity for these freshman players to come out. They got their feet wet a little bit here, and let's see what happens in the second half.
Absolutely, Mike. Again, if you're the Dolphins, you're looking at it like, hey, scoreboard is 0-0. Let's go out and play a great 20 minutes. Let's show what we can do, because the Dolphins are better than 32 points. They're better than a minus 15 against Montclair State. They're playing an experienced team, a team that has a lot of positive players that have played well. But the Dolphins have to show what they're all about here, and these next 20 minutes are going to go a long way.
And Dave, we look at the upcoming schedule here for the CSI Dolphins, and just taking a quick glance at it, after the Tournament of Heroes and when the new year begins, they're going to close their schedule with 13 consecutive conference games. So, the way that the Dolphins are going to come out and look at things, they're going to build the program to get ready for those final 13 games to push for their 3rd consecutive CUNYAC title.
Yeah, and it looked pretty. They did a pretty good job of that last year, didn't they? They had a little bit of a dip. They faltered on a couple of games, but the bottom line is their schedule really prepared them well for that final stretch. And even when the Dolphins were on that bit of a slide towards the latter half of the season, nobody really flinched on this team. Nobody really said, "Oh man, we're really playing poorly." They all stayed very positive, very even keel. And as a result, they finished out strong.
So let's see what the Dolphins could do here in the second half, as Montclair State did a nice job. The Dolphins took an early lead, Dave, but you got to give the Red Hawks a lot of credit. They, of course, never lost their composure and were able to come back and really go into halftime with a strong lead.
They'll have the first possession, so we'll see if the Dolphins can get a quick stop here.
So here we go, underway to start the second half. Mitchell White with the basketball. Over to Amundo. Now Mitchell White as they work the ball around the perimeter. The open three-pointer by Hoffman is up. No good, but coming in strong and going over the top is Callender as he was able to grab the offensive rebound. Red Hawks with the basketball now as they have a second chance opportunity as Mitchell White with the basketball. They work the ball around the perimeter, and they work it over to Amudo. Amudo's short jumper is up no good, and we're going to have a whistle, and this time we'll have a loose ball foul on Montclair State.
Well, head coach DJ Tibbs said things will even out a little bit. Here we are 36 seconds in, and the Dolphins have the benefits of the first call.
So the first foul of the second half goes against Montclair State, and the Dolphins now with the basketball. Destine over to Delahanty. Delahanty looking to feed it inside to a posting up Latunji. Now Desteem driving inside. His floater in the lane is good. Nice confident move to the basket that time by Desteem.
Yeah, Desteem has gone to the rim a couple of times, and that was the first time he really went up with authority, attacking the net rather than falling away from it.
47-34 is that time. Forcing up the jumper is Calendar, and we're going to have the second loose ball foul here in 1:11 on Montclair State.
All right.
As that foul, I'm sorry, it will be on Roberson, Dave, his second.
I like it. I like it.
So the Dolphins now with the basketball and an opportunity to cut into that Montclair State lead. Taylor, bounce pass over to Latunji. Now Desteem over to Delahanty. He looks to feed the ball inside, but we're going to have a whistle, and now 3 quick team fouls on the Red Hawks here to start the second half.
And I say I like it, Mike, not because, I just like the fact that the officials are calling fouls on Montclair. I like it that the Dolphins are establishing their presence on the inside. They're holding their ground. They're staying poised. They're staying upright, and now they got another call that way.
As Taylor forces that shot up, and that's going to be up and no good. And the rebound controlled by the Red Hawks. And Mitchell White brings the ball up across the three-point line. Emundo working the ball out over to the corner. We're going to have a whistle. And stepping on the baseline that time is the Red Hawks. So they turn the ball over. And Montclair State started out slow in the first half, starting out a little sluggish here in the second half.
Yeah, and the Dolphins need to take advantage of this slow start by Montclair. And again, a lot of communication issues with the Dolphins. We saw Latunji and Christian Taylor exchanging words just now.
As Kopech puts up that long three-pointer, that's no good. So a couple of misfires on the last 2 possessions by the Dolphins, and now it's Mitchell White with the basketball for the Red Hawks. Working the ball over to Emundo. He hands the ball off now to Hoffman as Montclair State starting to work the ball around the perimeter, and now they feed the ball inside. Now Mitchell White. He stumbles but gets the ball out over to Calendar. Calendar forced along the baseline. His pass is deflected away and stolen by Desteem. Desteem back up over to Delahanty, and now the Dolphins will back the ball out and set things up offensively.
I don't know if Desteem saw breaking Latunji on his left side.
As Taylor fouled hard on the play, and Montclair State doesn't like the call, but there was a lot of contact on the play. Instead, Irving Calendar's going to pick up his second foul, and the Red Hawks already with 4 quick ones here through 2 minutes and 37 seconds of the second half.
Yeah, they had 4 in the first half, Mike.
Yeah. So it's Taylor with the basketball. Taylor off the screen, and his jumper is good, and Dolphins have cut it down to 11. Good start here in the second half.
Yeah, you never think that a 12, 13-footer is a high percentage shot for Christian Taylor, but that's his range. He wants to live there.
So the Dolphins now trailing by 11. Mitchell White, bounce pass inside. As working the ball up with Zamudo, instead the Dolphins come away with the ball. Latunji ahead to Taylor, and we'll have goaltending on the play. And the Dolphins have cut it down inside 10, and they've really gotten themselves right back into the game here, Dave. Knocking 6 points off the Red Hawk lead in the second half. And we're going to have a timeout on the floor by Montclair State. It'll be a 30-second timeout. Great start for the second half, Dave, for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and that last run was started by James Delahanty's block right on the interior. Another example of the Dolphins establishing their positioning and making a great play the other way in transition. So Dolphins doing well defensively. It's starting with that. They've held Montclair off the scoreboard for the most part here in these first 3+ minutes. And you know what, Mike? 16:49 left. A 9-point game. Really, this is anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, the Dolphins have found themselves right back into the game. And, you always wonder with a young team, Dave, how they're going to react against adversity, especially several players playing with each other for the first time. Dolphins doing a nice job showing some resiliency. Let's see what they can do on the defensive end of the floor now, trailing by just 9. The ball comes over to Emundo. His long three-pointer is up. No good, but a nice play by Roberson going up strong to grab the rebound and lay it up and in. That's a big basket, Dave.
Yeah, his team needed that one, and Roberson established presence on the inside. He was in the middle of 3 white jerseys, came down with that rebound and the putback. Great play by Roberson.
Desteem, a beautiful feed inside to Taylor. His reverse layup is up, no good. And now Montclair State with the basketball at an 11-point lead. Callender, the open three-pointer is deflected, but Montclair State able to come away with the basketball. Callender, his pass is stolen away. Here come the Dolphins looking to run. Taylor feeding it inside and laying it up and in.
Nice.
Beautiful play by Taylor. 9-point game.
Nice job by Desteem to keep up with that, Mike. He almost saw that scramble off of his foot, was able to find Christian Taylor, and Taylor never left any doubt, went straight to the hoop with it.
9-point game once again as it's Hoffman with the basketball out by the three-point line. Hoffman picks up his dribble. He gets it over to Roberson. Now they work the ball over in the corner to Callender. Over to Amundo. His long shot is no good. And Callender is there to grab the rebound. And Montclair State's gone a little cold from the floor, Dave.
That's great scouting by the Dolphins because they left Amundo open to take that shot, low percentage shot.
As Desteem that time forces the jumper. And here comes Montclair State with the basketball. Hoffman, the long three-pointer is good. Big answer that time by Akbar Hoffman, the junior from Newark, New Jersey.
Huge by Hoffman, and he and Adeola Latunji exchange words going down the court.
10 points now for Hoffman. He's in double digits, and the Red Hawk lead is 12 as Latunji drives down the lane, but his floater is up, no good. And Mundo grabs the rebound, and now it's Mitchell White with the basketball. Miles has played really well for the Red Hawks as he's going to pick up the assist on the layup, and just like that, the Red Hawks open the lead right back up to 14, Dave.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, and again, it's a lot of transition work. Montclair State doesn't want to get caught up in the half court, Mike. We've seen time and again them settling for bad shots in the half court, kicking it around, not being able to get it inside, having to rely on the offensive rebound. Instead, running transition, they're able to get some speed up the floor. They're able to get their bigs in the paint quick, and this is what it leads to.
Yeah, Dave, and Delahanty finds himself back on the bench, picking up 4 personal fouls in just 12 minutes of play. And, you know, we mentioned it a little bit before, Dave. The first thing is you got to stay out on the floor. Because, no matter how good a player you are or how much size that you have the ability to offer the team, if you're going to pick up 4 fouls in 12 minutes, it makes it really tough. And, for the Dolphins in this game, Martin and Delahanty, the only players with size, is Martin now able to come up and lay it up and in. Nice play by the freshman.
Yeah, Dolphins are a different team when they have that presence inside, Mike. But Delahanty's played really, really well. But obviously, when you're banging on the inside almost on every possession, especially in transition, you run the risk of picking up fouls, and Delahanty has always run that risk.
As that jumper is taken, and another shot now by Hoffman as he scored the last 5 for Montclair State. 2 big baskets, and that matches Montclair State's 15-point lead going into halftime as Taylor forces it up once again, and now we're going to have a foul called on Latunji. And, Dave, the Dolphins have had a couple of opportunities here in the second half and kind of rushed and forced a few shots on a couple of possessions.
Yeah, and when they do, Mike, Montclair State immediately runs their transition game, and now it leads to a foul the other way on Latunji, his second. This is where the Dolphins want to be, though. They want to be in the half court defensively. See if they can take advantage.
Dolphins have been able to cut the lead down to as few as 9. But Montclair State has been able to go on an 8-2 run, and they've been able to open the lead back up to 15.
These are 2 young men coming in now, Mike, that I've got my eye on for the rest of the game. Velasquez and Mick, because coming out is Kopech and Desteem. They've been working really hard, Kopech and Desteem. The results haven't been there, but these are the shooting guards on this team that really, and the point guards that really need to take some of that scoring off the shoulders of Christian Taylor.
So let's see how they could do in their second half of their collegiate basketball career, as now it's Montclair State with the basketball and looking to work the ball inside as that's Rhodey feeding the ball up over to Hoffman. Hoffman, the off-balance jumper is good, and he's really been the key in the second half, Dave, for the Red Hawks.
Well, his shoulders are starting to hurt, Mike, because he's carrying this team offensively the last few trips.
Yeah,
he's been brilliant.
7 points for him as that baseline jumper is up, no good, and Montclair State able to open their lead back up to 17. Dolphins closed it to as few as 9, but good job by the Red Hawks as they stick with what's been successful for them, and they've opened the lead back to 17.
Yeah. Nobody with really a plan here to get this ball down off the top of the backboard. Everybody just kind of looking at each other like nobody can reach that.
No, that's going to need a basketball, Dave.
Yeah. And here comes Anthony Avina, facilities and events manager, coming out, saved the day. A lot of pressure on him. Nice
and the basket. Nice job.
I don't think he realizes he got it in. Nice job.
So
Anthony's first basket in his CSI career.
So it'll be the Red Hawks to inbound the basketball. They've opened their lead up to 17. They were able to do a nice job, Dave, withstanding that initial Dolphin push here in the second half.
Yeah, they've opened up their biggest lead.
Rhodey with the basketball. He gets the ball out over to Porter. Porter's pass will sky out of bounds, so it will be Dolphin basketball. But you're right, Dave. For the Dolphins now, you want to see how the three freshmen play along with Latunji and Taylor.
Yeah, exactly. Can they take some of that weight off?
So let's see how they could do here. They're going to have an opportunity for a little bit of playing time. Mick with the basketball. Over to Velasquez. Back to Mick. His open three-pointer is up. No good. So he's missed his first few shots as a Dolphin now 0 for 3. As that ball is stolen, and we're going to have a whistle on the play. And I think we're going to have a jump ball. And
will be Montclair's if it is.
So, no, instead, I think we might have a foul on the Dolphins. The Red Hawks, let's see how the foul is called. Or how the play is called.
I don't know.
Because I still haven't seen any foul signal, Dave.
I didn't either, unless they said that Montclair play was out of bounds.
So it'll be Dolphin basketball here, trailing by 17. And, the Dolphins' offense goes cold at times, but it also gets very hot. So let's see what Martin can do now. Over to Latunji. Latunji, a nice move, drives it to the basket and draws the foul. There's a lot of contact on the play, and it's been a physical game, Dave. It hasn't been a dirty game, but these teams have been banging each other really since the opening tip.
No, absolutely, and that's the way you want to see the game played. Alili Latunji had an open lane, and the red jerseys were there to pick up the defender, and Addy will go to the line. They've been limited here. This is the Dolphins' only their third free throw of the game.
As Latunji misses it, and they're just 1 for 3 from the line. And
yeah, free throw shooting was an area the Dolphins really struggled in last year, Mike, and it really was deceptive because it came in waves. They'd have games where they'd hit 17 out of 18 free throws, and they'd have games where they'd shoot 30 and 40%.
Yeah, so that's, again, something that when you get into big games down the stretch could come back to haunt you, as we're going to have an offensive foul called on the play. And, again, you want to be able to be successful with your free throws, but, again, there's only so much you can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right, Mike. And the Dolphins need to start pulling together some offensive series here and getting points.
Yeah, again, opening game here, you're really looking at things and looking how to play well, but, you'd sure like to give yourself an opportunity here in the later stages of the second half as Mick nearly turned the ball over. A nice play that time is Velasquez goes to the rim. He misses. The rebound is grabbed by Martin. That shot's knocked away. So that time the Dolphins had a couple of opportunities but could not score. And then we'll have probably a blocking foul called on Mick on the play as he really didn't get back in time to set his feet, and they'll get called for the foul.
Again, the Dolphins attack the rim. They can't get the basket, and it's immediate transition from Montclair. It's been the story of the entire game, and it's really playing into the hands of the Red Hawks and the style of basketball they want to play.
Yeah, so it'll be the free throw by Mitchell White, and that first free throw is up and in as Montclair State matches their biggest lead of the game, David, 17.
Yeah, Dolphins cut this lead down to 9 in the early stages of the second half, and since then Montclair State not only has been able to steady the ship, but really have been able to kind of dominate inside with Delahanty on the bench. And Dolphins just really haven't been a little bit unlucky right near the hoop.
Yeah, Dave, and like midway through the first half, the rebounds were very close. If that shot is going to be rejected away that time, and, Martin coming in and pushing the play from behind. Now what you're looking for. Fortunate nothing was called on the play, and we're going to have a whistle and a timeout taken here on the floor.
Yeah, we don't have the benefits of replay tonight, Mike, because of just our engineering. But I thought that after the block, Taylor kind of went down, and one of the Montclair players kind of stood up, on top of him in a suggestive state, and that's what led Martin in there. But the benefits of YouTube will allow people to kind of rewind and check it out and see if what I'm saying is correct. And that's what TJ Tibbs was talking about. He was kind of making gestures with his foot like there was a stomping on the ground next to Taylor, and Jamal Martin coming to the aid of his player. I don't know, at the end of all this, I think the Dolphins took a timeout, but I'm not quite sure what's going on here.
Yeah, I first thought that there was nothing called, and then I saw the official signal over to the scorer's table, so I'm not sure what the call will be, but that should sort itself out in a minute, Dave. And, just looking through some of the stats, neither team has really turned the ball over that much. Dolphins have turned the ball over just four times here this afternoon. But, Dave, about midway through the first half, the rebounds were just about even. Montclair State might have had a little bit of an edge. It's now a 48-30 rebounding advantage for Montclair State.
Yeah, and that's been the way of it. And I believe there was a technical foul, Mike assessed, because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
we haven't been told anything from the public address. They are lining up, and this is going to be a free throw attempt being taken here.
Yeah, and I could see they put the foul up on Martin, Dave, as he now has his third personal. So
looks like his fourth, though, Mike. You could see. I think he had 3.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how the officials shake it out. But, the one thing we know for sure, Dave, is Joseph Roddy goes to the free throw line and hits 2, is that when you're down by 18 points, you hate to give away a couple more. And now the Dolphins find themselves down by 20.
Yep, and right now for the Dolphins, it's all about trying to finish strong. I mean, down by 20 with 11 and a half minutes left. The game certainly is not over, but you want to be able to leave your floor here in good shape.
Yeah, Montclair State now on a 14-3 run since the Dolphins cut the deficit down to 9 when it was 49-40. As Martin goes inside and lays it up and in. And, we've only seen Martin for a limited number of minutes, but he's done several very impressive things here for the Dolphins.
Yep, and, he's a player that is going to get into foul trouble early. He hasn't played a lot. He's already had 4 fouls.
As a fight for possession, Velasquez can't come away with it, and now Mick is going to come away with the steal. Austin working the ball out now to Velasquez. Velasquez, a nice look away pass that time for Martin. Martin looking to work his way inside. He kicks the ball in the corner. The open three-pointer by Latunji is good.
Yeah, he only had 3 3-pointers all of last year, and I believe they were all in the NCAA championship game. First round game, hits his first of the season, and just like that, it's a 15-point game.
So big basket there for Adiola. He has 14, and the Dolphins trying to work themselves back. Hoffman.
Sorry, Mike. That's the thing, Mike. After a made basket, you force Montclair into half-court offense, and they haven't been strong all game in the half-court. It's been all transition for Montclair.
Martin looking to work the ball inside. Boy, oh boy. You talk about a dive, Dave.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful dive by Montclair State, and they're going to get the charge. Bad call by the official, but you can see how he would be misled.
Yeah, and he's getting it from the crowd because he just fouled Jamal Martin out of the game on a really bogus call. I mean, that was a complete gift and a complete acting job. And give the Montclair State player credit who sold it, but wow.
Yeah, so now the Dolphins find themselves really with limited sides out on the floor. It's
Martin's 4th.
Yeah, so he gets to stay out on the floor, and he forces the turnover. So the Dolphins with the basketball looking to cut into that 15-point lead. Velasquez lobbing it inside to Martin. Martin looking to back his way inside. He works it in the corner to Latunji. His open three is no good. Amudo there for the rebound.
That would have been a big dagger for Latunji and the Dolphins.
And we're going to have a whistle and a foul before the shot, as the Dolphins will pick up the foul. And that's going to be their 8th, and that will lead to free throws.
Mitchell White will be at the line for Montclair.
So Velasquez picks up the foul as we have a couple of substitutions, as Mick and Martin will check out of the game, Dave, for the Dolphins.
Delahanty back, and Mitchell White has been great at the free throw line, Mike, tonight. 7 of 8
as
in
he
total.
hits the first,
one more.
He's got one more, guys.
Yeah.
So one more upcoming with 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here in the second half. And the Dolphins find themselves trailing by 16 once again. The second free throw is up, no good. And Taylor's there to grab the rebound, but his pass is going to be stolen by Montclair State. They come right back and turn the ball over, so the teams will swap turnovers, and it will be Dolphin basketball with 9:21 remaining.
Yeah, both teams had 3 turnovers at halftime. Montclair State now with 7 in the second half. Dolphins with 3.
So Taylor with the basketball. He leads all scorers with 21 points here this evening. Taylor, nice crossover dribble, works his way down the lane and lays it up and in. Beautiful move once again by Christian Taylor.
And the best part of all this, Mike, is that after the free throw, if he makes it, the Dolphins can get back to half-court defense, which has really been their strength tonight against Montclair. And in the half court, the Dolphins have really been right on par or even better than the Red Hawks in a lot of occasions and a lot of big chunks of the game. And they've really limited Montclair's ability to transition here these last couple of minutes. It's the reason why they've clawed their way back in.
So Christian hits the free throw. He's now 2 of 3 from the line. He's up to 24 points, and the lead is down to 13. Mitchell White with the basketball. He works the ball up over to Parnham. Now Mitchell White getting the ball back, feeding the ball inside, and a beautiful reverse layup that time by Parnham. Big basket for Montclair State.
Yeah, and that's a product of Delahanty not being able to be aggressive with the 4 fouls. He cannot afford to try and contest.
Taylor with the basketball. Taylor pulls up a beautiful feed inside to Delahanty, who lays it up and in.
Yeah, nice job by the Dolphins there, and Taylor passing off on that look to get it inside.
Red Hawk lead down to 13 points once again as Parnham has the ball stolen, and Taylor will pick up the foul, and Montclair State will pick up their 7th foul, Dave, so that'll be a 1-and-1 now for Christian Taylor.
I feared for our equipment there, Mike, on that last one. But it's a big, big 1-and-1 opportunity for Christian Taylor.
Yeah, and so Taylor goes to the line. He's 2 of 3 from the line here this afternoon. And his free throw is up, rolls around the rim, and no good.
That's a killer.
Big miss that time, and a big rebound by Parnham, who's picked up a big basket and a rebound in the last couple of possessions, and a big offensive rebound by Montclair State once again as it's Hoffman. His floater is up, no good, and the Dolphins come away with the basketball, and they're looking to run. Velasquez, coast to coast, misses the layup. Latunji can't hit the tip. So nice aggressive move by Velasquez, but he couldn't hit the shot. And here come the Red Hawks with the basketball on a 13-point lead. Nice job by Mitchell White, Dave, to pull it out.
Yeah, you know, a missed free throw, though, on a 1-and-1, the front end, and then a layup missed by the Dolphins. Those are big misses for CSI.
As we're going to have a whistle, and now we're going to have a offensive foul called on the Red Hawks, so it will give the Dolphins the basketball. But you're right, Dave. When you get yourself behind late in the second half, you really need to take advantage of a couple of your opportunities, and the Dolphins let a couple slip away.
Yeah, they absolutely did, but there is still time here. Dolphins will need to run. They'll need to get more stops.
So it's Delahanty now with the basketball. Bounce pass over to Velasquez. They work the ball back up over to Velasquez. Now it's Latunji. Taylor looking to drive down the lane, and he backs it up and in. What a move by Christian Taylor. He now has 26 of the Dolphins' 55 points. and the Dolphins find themselves now down by just 11.
Yeah, Taylor, all he needs is about a 6-inch window, Mike, and he's going to take it every single time. It's a full timeout.
So we're going to have our first full timeout of the afternoon here with 7 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second half. We'll step aside, take a break. Dolphins down by 11, 66-55. We'll step aside, and we'll be right back.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
We're back here with 7 minutes and 22 seconds remaining. And, you know, Dave, the Dolphins have trailed by as many as 20 here in the second half. They went into halftime trailing by 15, but they've been fighting and fighting throughout the second half.
Yeah, that's what you have to do, Mike, especially on your home building. You don't need a lot to get the crowd back in it and engaged, and the Dolphins have been doing it via great defense and some transition baskets the other way. Now the Dolphins with another opportunity with their half-court defense to force a stop and another trip down the floor. And this is the part of the game where they've been pretty good.
Yeah, and you know, Dave, you were looking out into the stands. A lot of people here for this opening night here at the College of Staten Island. And, you know, the way things are shaping up, it looks like it's going to be a very exciting year for both the men's and women's team.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, obviously. A great run for both of these teams.
As the Dolphins look to press in the backcourt, but Montclair State able to get the ball in bounds, but it's going to be stolen away. And here comes the Dolphins. Mick working the ball out over that time to Cortalis. His shot is blocked, but the Dolphins will maintain possession of the basketball.
Yeah, Dolphins got a little fortunate there as 3 different Montclair State players tried to converge on the basketball. They all kind of knocked into each other, took themselves out of the play.
Cortalis, Velasquez, and Mick all looking for their first points as CSI Dolphins. As that ball is stolen away, big turnover by the Dolphins as Hoffman once again comes away with it and lays it up and in. And boy, you look back at this second half, Dave, and it's really been the play of Akbar Hoffman that's helped Montclair State maintain their double-digit lead.
So many possessions and yet another transition bucket from Montclair State.
Taylor with the basketball. Taylor working his way inside against a couple of Red Hawks, and he's able to draw the foul.
Yep, and these are free throws that Christian Taylor absolutely has to make. He has not been effective via the free throw line tonight, just 2 of 4.
Yeah, Dolphins just 3 of 6 from the line here this afternoon. Now Taylor will have a straight 2 free throws as he was fouled in the act of shooting, and he misses the first.
And something the Dolphins have struggled with a lot. They're 3 of 7, under 50% tonight.
And you mentioned it earlier, Dave. Christian really picked up his free throw shooting as the year went along. Starting out a little slowly here tonight, but able to hit the second and draw the Dolphins to within 12. So let's see if they can get a stop here with 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in this second half. Porter with the basketball out by the three-point line. Porter looking for somewhere to go with the basketball. He gets it over to Amundo. The long three-pointer that time by Mitchell White is up and good, and he's another player, Dave. Mitchell White and Hoffman in the second half have been the key to the Red Hawks' success.
Yeah, got to give credit where credit's due. Montclair's made a couple of really big baskets when they've needed them.
As Taylor able to come back with a 2-pointer of his own that cuts the Dolphin lead, or the Red Hawk lead, down to 13.
29 now for Christian Taylor.
Mitchell White with the basketball over to Porter. Porter working the ball in the corner. The open three-pointer is up, no good, but Porter able to go up high, grab the rebound, and a smart decision to bring the ball out and run the clock down. And now we're going to have a whistle and a foul. It's going to be on Velasquez. Chris, looking for his first points of the game, has picked up 4 personals, though, in a limited amount of playing time here this afternoon. Again, learning how to play without picking up fouls. Dave.
Yeah, and that's the key. You know, in high school you can get away a little bit sometimes with kids being a little bit skittish and getting the ball away when you front them defensively. In college, you're going to get a lot of people who attack you, defensively when you put your body up against them, because they'll get the call. That's something that Chris is just going to learn over time.
So Mitchell White goes to the free throw line for a 1-and-1, and he hits the first. And, that's the second 1-and-1, Dave, that he's had here in the second half. And he's hit both front ends of them. And he has one more upcoming. He's already 8 of 10 from the line. And he's really played very well for Montclair State. And he's now 9 of 10. And, that's what you want, Dave, the guy with the ball in his hand to hit his free throws, and he's done that here this afternoon.
And in the first half, Montclair State kind of quietly took over the game via the free throw line, and they have the potential to end it here at the free throw line as well.
So the Dolphins haven't been able to get close to the 9 here in the second half, and the Red Hawks doing a nice job as Mitchell White with the basketball now, and 16 seconds remaining on the shot clock as he pulls up. That jumper is up, no good, and Latunji able to grab the rebound for the Dolphins. Latunji looking to break it up the floor. He takes a tough off-balance shot, and he draws the foul. Not sure, Dave, that was the kind of shot the Dolphins were looking for on the play, but Adiola able to draw the foul and go to the free throw line.
Yeah, and if you're the Dolphins now, you got 5:11 left, and every trip down the floor has to yield you some type of points, Mike. And you think about it, you're only going to get about 10, 12 more possessions, so your chances are going to be very limited now.
As Latunji puts that free throw up and in. So Adiola with the basket there, and he's played well for the Dolphins tonight as well. He now has 17, and he misses the second free throw. So Dolphins leave another point up on the board, and it's Montclair State with the basketball and a 14-point lead.
Dolphins really have to devote a lot of time to their free throw shooting, Mike. It's, here at home, it's one thing. When they're on the road, they're going to be put to the line often.
As that shot is up, the ball is turned over, I should say, and Latunji will be fouled, and Montclair State in the double bonus already, so that means Latunji will go to the free throw line to shoot 2, which is a good opportunity for the Dolphins, Dave, to score points with the clock not moving, but they haven't been able to take full advantage of their free throws here tonight.
Well, 50%, I think, on the nose, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, CSI is tonight at the line.
As Latunji's first free throw is up and in.
And, Mike, it's no secret. You look up and down Division III, and you look at the best, teams in the country, and, one of the things they all have in common, the common denominator, is they all shoot free throws well, because in big games and close games down the stretch, this is where the games are won and lost. And when you're shooting 50% from the free throw line at home in a game where your opponent's giving you opportunities to get yourself back in the game, you just can't have that.
Yeah, it makes it tough as that open three-pointer is taken by Abundo, and that's up and in, and that could be the dagger, Dave.
Yeah, 16 points now. Montclair State has weathered another CSI storm.
As that time it's Porter picking up the foul as Taylor went to the ground hard, but he's okay. So the Dolphins will go to the free throw line with another opportunity to close the deficit a little bit with the clock stopped. But, Montclair State, you got to give them a lot of credit, Dave. Every time the Dolphins have closed a little bit, Montclair State has been able to come up with some good, solid possessions to keep the lead above double digits.
Yep, both teams are in the double bonus as well. But you're right, Mike. Every time Montclair's needed a big one, they've gotten one as Jonathan Badmus returns for CSI. He'll replace Delahanty, who played, I think, really, really well tonight.
Yeah, it's been a little too much Miles Mitchell-White and a little too much Akbar Hoffman here in the second half, and they've been able to keep the Hawk lead in double digits, and they now lead by 15 points with 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in the second half. It's Hoffman with the basketball. Hoffman feeds the ball inside to Roberson. His shot is knocked away, but he'll draw the foul.
We're going to be seeing a lot of free stuff for the rest of the evening here, Mike. With 4 minutes left, everything is getting called at this point. So it's going to be very, very hard for both of these teams to operate inside without picking up fouls. And Roberson, who's also enjoyed a very good game from Montclair State, will be at the line. He'll shoot 2 because of the double bonus.
As that first one is up and in. It makes it a 16-point game.
Roberson tonight, 13 points. That's his first trip at the free throw line.
Yeah, he's one of several Red Hawk players who have played well, and he's had a very good game as well, and now the lead opened back up to 17. And, if you're the Dolphins here, Dave, you want to, continue to play hard and try to cut into this lead down the stretch. Latunji working the ball out over into the corner. He gets the ball back at the three-point line. Looking to drive his way inside. That ball is going to be knocked away and turned over. Martin fighting for possession. And we're going to have a whistle and a jump ball. A little surprised the Dolphins didn't take a timeout there, Dave. But with a 17-point lead at 3:42, it won't be a determinative factor of the game.
No, I don't think so. Again, you like to see the Dolphins running all over the floor and diving all over the floor to get a loose ball at this stage in the game. Now we're going to have a break, and now we have a timeout called by Montclair State. It's a full timeout.
So why don't we step aside and take a break here. We have 3 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the game. Dolphins trail 78-61. You're watching men's basketball coverage on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
We're back with 3 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. The Dolphins trailing by a score of 78-61, Dave. And, as we have an opportunity to take a little bit of the look at the statistics for the Dolphins here this afternoon, two things that jump out. 48 of the 61 Dolphin points scored by Christian Taylor and Adeola Latunji. And you look at all the Dolphin baskets, Dave, only 8 Dolphin assists on the evening here tonight.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? The Dolphins just need to find scoring from other areas, other kids on the team. They need to find a little bit more go-to players. And right now they really haven't found the answer to that yet. They've got talent. You could see it, but they need some answers to some questions.
Yeah, so the CSI men's basketball team will have 6 days off before their next contest when they go out onto the road and will play against Misericordia next Wednesday. And then next weekend they'll be down in Virginia for a pair of games as well. So, an opportunity for the Dolphins to grow a little bit together as a team, as it'll be Mitchell White going to the free throw line once again with an opportunity to open up a 17-point Red Hawk lead as he misses the first. Men's basketball team will go out on the road for their next 6 games before coming home on December 4th against John Jay. So that will be the Dolphins' second conference game of the year. And, we mentioned before, 8 of the next 9 games on the road for the Dolphins, Dave. So an opportunity to see where they are against very good competition as Latunji lays it up and in, and the Dolphins take a timeout.
Yeah, no breaks for the Dolphins. Obviously, we mentioned it periodically throughout tonight's broadcast. They will continue to play some very, very tough competition. The Montclair State Redhawks, barring something unforeseen, are going to get out of Staten Island with a win, and they got to feel pretty good about their side and about how things will progress for them. And for the Dolphins, you can look at a game like this and say, we gave up way too many points than what we'd like at home. We came up a little short, on the inside game, and we need to find some guys who want the ball in their hands offensively, and who want to attack the rim, and who want to take open shots, and who can knock them down when they're open. One thing I noticed tonight from Christian Kopeck and Austin Mick, when they did have opportunities, they did fire, but they missed very badly some of their shots, and that's just a product of nerves and getting into rituals and habits, and once you get comfortable, those shots will start to fall. The way the Dolphins missed shots tonight is an indicator to me that it's not all hope is lost here. It's just going to take a little time.
Yeah, again, this is just the first game of the regular season, and we mentioned it a little bit before, Dave. Everything the Dolphins do is building towards their final 13 conference games and their defense of the QDAC championship, and the Dolphins looking not only to get into the tournament, as Coach T.J. Tibbs always says, is going up for the dunk and missing it is Amudo, but he'll go to the free throw line. But the Dolphins aren't looking to go to the NCAA tournament. They're looking to win games in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, exactly. And to do that, they need to find themselves. They need to find who they are. And, we can't really forget either, Mike, that this is a very, very young team. There's no seniors on this team. And even when you look at the juniors like Christian Taylor and Adeola Latunji, they only really played last year. Adeola Latunji wasn't here 2 years ago. He was at the University of Albany not playing athletics and out of basketball for almost 3 or 4 years. And then Christian Taylor really played just a handful of minutes his freshman year. So when you think about the impact players in this team, this is really only their second year on the floor, really in big roles. So it is going to take some time, and they are going to have to find themselves. And these young players, you look at number 12, Andrew Cartalis in your screen, Jonathan Badmus with his hands in the air. You can see on the screen number 4. Who knows? Who knows what role they're going to have in Game 27. We know what Game 1 was all about for them. They're hoping Game 27 will be a little bit better.
Yeah, so a substitution is Badmus will check out of the game, and Jamal Martin will check back into the game for the Dolphins. And, an opportunity. The Dolphins will have plenty of time to practice before their next game. And, that's the thing, Dave, is that before you get to January, really that's when the teams really develop. They have plenty of practice time, and, you could be sure that head coach T.J. Tibbs will be putting this team through the paces over the next 6 days before the next game. Open three-pointer that time is up, no good, and the fight for the rebound, it'll be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Red Hawk basketball as we're down to 2 minutes and 47 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's been a tough go all around shooting. You look at Christian Kopeck, 1 for 4 from the field. Rigo Destine, 1 for 7. Delahanty only took 1 shot. He got it in. Velasquez 0 for 2. Cartalis 0 for 2 with that last shot. And Austin Mick 0 for 3. Jamal Martin, the only CSI player other than Latunji and Taylor, who are up near the 40%, 50% mark for the evening.
As Montclair State working the ball around the perimeter, wide open three-pointer is in and out, and Destine there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins. Destine bringing it up the center of the floor, feeds it to Latunji, who's able to tip it up and in, and 15-point game now as the clock continues to roll with 2:15 remaining.
And for Latunji, that is 20 points for him.
As we have a whistle, I'm not sure.
Shot clock again.
So the shot clock will be reset, but I thought there was 2:15 left when the Dolphins hit the basket, so they knock a couple of seconds off the shot clock. It's about right.
Yeah.
So Montclair State to inbound the basketball. They lead by 15 as the Dolphins continue to press. And, even in games that you can't necessarily win, you can still practice things like your full court press at the end of the game, Dave.
Yep, and Dolphins will put more offense back in the game. Mick and Martin will come back in, replacing Badmus. And Destine, again, offense for defense.
So Taylor bringing the ball up the floor. He led all scorers here tonight with 30. Latunji feeding it back. Cartalis, the open three-pointer, that's up, no good. And it'll go out of bounds, so it'll be Red Hawk basketball. So Andrew had a wide open look on that one, unable to get it down, and Dolphins will have a couple of substitutions here with 1:54 remaining.
Dolphins just 2 of 12 from three-point range tonight. They pride themselves on being better shooting team from beyond the arc.
As Montclair State bringing the ball up across the midcourt line and laying it up and in to make it a 17-point game with 1:41 remaining here in the second half. Dolphins look to bring the ball inside, and we're going to have, that time it was Badmich driving down the lane, and he'll draw the foul, and he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2 with an opportunity to score his first points as a CSI Dolphin.
Badmich, another one of these project players for the Dolphins. They have big hopes for down the stretch.
As he hits the first, and a couple of Dolphin players come in, as Christian Taylor will check out. He had a great game, and Nicholas Taylor will come into the game to replace him.
The first time I met Nick, I thought that Chris had grew his hair out a little bit, and it got curly over the summer. They look almost identical, but obviously a couple of years apart. And Nick, obviously the younger brother of Chris, comes into the game.
As the free throw by Badmich is up, no good, and Montclair State controls the rebound as we head into the final 90 seconds of the opening game, and the Dolphins finding themselves down 16 against the Red Hawks. And really, the Dolphins got that early lead, Dave, but once Montclair State pulled out in front, you know, the Dolphins really were never able to get it closer than 9 here in the second half.
Yeah, it looked promising, too, until Hoffman went off and got Montclair State that cushion back again, and that was all she wrote.
As the ball tipped around, and Badmich there to grab the rebound, and Dolphins with 1 minute remaining here in the second half. The steam will be bumped into, and he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
We're officially under a minute here, 59.9 seconds.
You know, Dave, while we have a minute, you know, we should mention, for those of you that might have joined us late, the CSI women's basketball team really came out and played a real strong game against St. Joe's Brooklyn. And really, if you're a CSI women's basketball fan, you really had to be excited with their initial performance here tonight.
Yeah, I certainly was, Mike. It was a nice entry for young talent that's on this Dolphins team. And, you know, they too, Mike, even though this was a good effort tonight, you expect them to be better by game 26 and 27.
Yeah, and we'll be back on Sunday afternoon as the women will face NYU, and may not get much basketball for the men at home in the month of November, Day, but the women with a few games coming up here this month.
Yeah, we might as well give our intro to our next broadcast. Mike, there you go. Women's basketball will be back here on Sunday. The Giants play Monday Night Football. The Jets stink. So women's basketball will take center stage against New York University. And that starts, you know, a pretty rough stretch for the women as well. They'll be very, well contested these next couple of games.
Yeah, you know, they'll play NYU, and then they'll go on the road and face a William Patterson team that's always tough. And then Misericordia will come in to play against the women here at CSI, and the men's team will go out to Dallas, Pennsylvania to play them next week, and then Mount St. Mary at CCNY. And for both the men and the women, Dave, the conference tournament, the conference play begins this November 30th.
Yeah, end of the month. It comes up sooner than we think. You know, we'll have the Thanksgiving break, and then really the conference slate rolls into full gear, and it's very exciting. Dolphins trying to three-peat as conference champions, and the women, of course, looking to win their second in 3 years and make their third consecutive trip to the final.
Yeah, and neither team, Dave, will play a non-conference game after New Year's Day. As the pass goes ahead, and we're going to have a whistle on the play, as at that time they feed the ball ahead to Calendar, and Dolphins will get called for the foul. So Calendar will go to the line to shoot 2. The only outcome in doubt now, the final score, is he hits the first and makes the lead 13 once again.
I want to thank all of our viewers tonight, Mike. We got a nice, healthy number watching us. Of course, our friends from Montclair State, of course, all of our CSI folks who could not be here tonight. We had an outstanding crowd here tonight. The seats in front of us pretty much packed capacity.
And you know, Dave, every year you go into the new year as we head down into the final 20 seconds, and, you know, things change so much from year to year. But, you know, I think we've seen enough here from both the men and the women's basketball team to know that we're going to have another exciting year. And, you know, these men and women's basketball teams over the year have brought so much excitement to the campus, and it looks like two more real exciting teams to watch here in 2018-19.
Yeah, we've been very spoiled at CSI because while a lot of other programs have their ups and downs, their roller coasters of sorts, CSI for so many years has been so competitive in men's and women's basketball, arguably our flagship programs here at the college, and the entire campus gets involved. Our residence halls have really come out in force, and it's just been fun. It's just been fun to be competitive and be really elite last few years. And Dolphins will be there again. This is a setback, but a good game against a good team, and Dolphins will be better for it.
So the clock will wind out. Montclair State opens their season with an 84-70 victory over the College of Staten Island. The Dolphins came out strong, but you got to give Montclair State a lot of credit. They were able to use their size. I get the Dolphins in early foul trouble, and it was too much, Dave, for the Dolphins to have overcome.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely. This was not so much a Dolphins loss as it was a Red Hawks win, Mike. They really took it to the Dolphins, and when the Dolphins put up resistance, when CSI made their runs, the Red Hawks responded. They responded in force. They made big baskets down the stretch. They're a team with a lot of numbers. They're a big team. They're a physical team. They're a very gifted team, and they're a team that plays in a great conference. They knew they were going to be in a big test, the Dolphins did, and they came up short. Not the result that they wanted, but, you know, the Dolphins will be, like I said, it will be better for it.
Yeah, you know, when you take the positives out of the game, Martin played very well in his first game. And, you know, for those young players, those other freshmen that are just coming in and really playing their first game out of high school, I think the one thing that the players see immediately is there's a big difference between high school basketball and Division III play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, it will take time. It will take time, so you know, for things to adjust and come together. But you know, we'll see how it ends up.
So the CSI Dolphins dropped this game to Montclair State by a final score of 84-70 after the women picked up a win earlier tonight against St. Joe's Brooklyn by a final score of 67-43. So one win, one loss for the Dolphins. Any closing thoughts, Dave, before we leave?
I agree with you, Mike. I think we're in for an exciting season. I can't believe that basketball has tipped off. Remember, the NCAA changed its rules. It used to be November 15th was the first permissible day. They moved it up a week to November 8th, and that's why we have such a early start. Soccer's still going on in the women's side, and we have basketball. We're spoiled to be working in college athletics, and this is one of the reasons why, win or lose, a great time.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the tank at the College of Staten Island. Don't forget to join us for our next broadcast as the CSI women's basketball team will be back in action this Sunday afternoon against NYU. So for Dave Pizzuto, this is Mike Babuski saying so long and thanks for watching. Once again, the final score, Montclair State wins by a final score of 84-70. You've been watching exclusive home opener coverage of men's and women's college basketball on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. See you Sunday, everybody.